Hey there, everybody. Because the last phrasal verb video was so popular, I've decided I'm going to try and create some more videos that are dedicated to helping those of you who are doing the Cambridge exams. This video is going to focus on key sentence transformation as it's connected to the idea of phrasal verbs. So don't forget, a phrasal verb is a combination of a verb plus a preposition, a verb plus an adverb, or a verb plus an adverb plus a preposition that probably has the same meaning as a one-word normal verb. Okay? And here's an example of the way that a key sentence transformation exercise might ask you a question about phrasal verbs. Okay? The first thing it could do is ask you for to rewrite a sentence changing a phrasal verb, which is what we've got here, and turning it into a one-word sentence. Sorry, a sentence that just has one word verb. So we need to solve this problem. Consequently, you can also have sentences where you've got to take the one-word verb and think about the particle and rewrite the sentence with the same meaning, but with a phrasal verb. So, how do you do that? There are three different things that you need to keep in mind when you're doing this kind of phrasal verb to one-word verb exercise, or vice versa. The first is to think about the possibilities. The second is to look at the structure of the sentence to see if your possibility fits in there. And the third thing is to make sure that your answer that you write in contains no fewer than 2, but no more than 5 words. So let's take a look at some examples. Okay, what verb? We need to think about the structure of the sentence. If there are any clues that tell us what verbs or phrasal verbs are possible, for example, transitive or intransitive. Okay, is it a verb that's only connected to a person or a verb that's for a situation? And always keeping in mind that we need to preserve the meaning of the original sentence. So let's take a look. Okay, here's an example here. Don't forget to button your sweater. And again, these are really easy examples that I'm going to use just to illustrate this. So, button, in this case, we've got as a verb. We know button as a noun. Button can also be used as a verb. We have up, which can be used as the particle of a phrasal verb. So somewhere in there, we need to find a phrasal verb that has the particle up and can be used with sweater. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think of the different possibilities. Okay? To button something means to close it, to keep it from opening. And up has the idea of completely when we use it in a phrasal verb. So let's review the usual suspects, the verbs that most commonly are used in phrasal verbs. Make, take, do, go, get, have, and maybe there's another one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to review those basic 6 verbs and think if there's a combination of a verb plus up that would work. Can you identify a verb that would work in this situation? You're right. Do something up. Do something up as a phrasal verb means to close something or to complete a process. So the second thing I want to look at is the structure. This is a transitive verb. You can have the direct object after the particle or between the particle and the verb. So that'll work in here as well, because we know that we can do this within 2 to 5 words. Okay? Don't forget to do up your sweater. 5 words, we're set. Let's take a look at one more example. Okay? In this case, I want to think of a phrasal verb that means the same as harass. I won't let him harass me. This phrasal verb needs to use the particle around. Now this is going to be slightly more complicated because around isn't used as frequently as some other particles. But that's also a good thing because it limits the number of possibilities that we may have. Do, go, make, take, be, and have. There may be possible combinations among those, but none of them come close to the meaning of harass. And that's important because we need to preserve the idea of harass. I'll give you a hint. Adverbs are quite often used in phrasal verbs with verbs of movement. Any ideas? Now, I specifically picked this one because the image is very visual. Push somebody around. To push somebody around means to harass them or to try to dominate them. So in this case, this phrasal verb does work with our original sentence, but we still have to check whether it preserves the meaning and whether we can do it in 2 to 5 words. So let's take a look. I won't let him push me around. Fabulous. It fits in the structure because it's transitive. And we can also do it in 2 to 5 words. Okay, that's where it works. That's the idea behind using phrasal verbs to one verb and one word to phrasal verbs. This is quite often connected with the idea of key sentence transformation that also goes from formal to informal and informal to formal, because we know from our first certificate preparation that we consider phrasal verbs to be informal English. We need to have the same idea, but we have to have different wording. For example, formal to informal. It's like a test that Cambridge has to make sure that you can express and use ideas and words in different situations, because not everything's going to be possible or correct in a specific situation. So, I hope you found that useful. Please feel free to visit the blog at stop-spanglish.blogspot.ca, and if you're interested in English classes for Spanish speakers of English, please visit the website at www.stopspanglish.com.